Hey, what's up? Mike and I are in the Cinemassacre movie room, I guess you can say, and we're just gonna bullshit around and just watch some movies and talk about them. Mostly, we're gonna watch some cartoons, actually, because we like cartoons.
Yes.
But anyway, you like movies? You watch them? What do you watch movies on? Blu-ray? Maybe DVD? That's most likely. Most people watch movies on DVD. But then there's people who kind of like VHS or Laserdisc, sort of for the novelty of it, maybe. Some people are more old school. Well, Mike and I like to watch movies on film.
16 millimeter.
On 16 millimeter film. Now, why do we do this? Because there isn't really any kind of point. It's like...
It's much more of a pain in the ass to have this than to have a DVD. I mean, look at this. It's so inconvenient.
Yeah, well, there's so many things that are inconvenient about film. For one thing, it's very expensive to collect this sort of thing, and it's loud because it's meant to be in a projection booth, not in someone's living room. So when you're sitting here watching it, it's very loud, and sometimes you have to focus it. It's a little more work. You have to thread the film. But a DVD is way cheaper. It's much more convenient. So why do we like film then? Why do we like to watch stuff on this?
That's a good question.
I guess it's really just the novelty of it. It just feels like, I don't know.
I think it's a bit more authentic when you watch film, because these films that we have here have been, this stuff has been around since before we were born. And that, this is it's authentic because it's the real deal. When you have a DVD, it was run through a computer, it was digitized, but this is the real film. But, it came from film, but here is the film.
It's got scratches and it's got splices and
that's half the fun.
That's the fun. We like it when we see some shittiness in it.
It's a surprise sometimes when there's a splice. You'll be watching the film, and then all of a sudden there's a splice, and it cuts to the next scene. Well, that's part of the novelty, and I guess the charm. It's a little different, and some people might say, well, why the fuck would you want part of the movie chopped out? But that's just, it's just either you get it or you don't. It is a novelty. It's a novelty. This could be akin to collecting records.
Yeah, that's right. And we've done that too. We have. No, we're not kidding. Okay, so this is Mike's film collection.
Yeah,
right here.
This isn't everything here, but I brought a lot of stuff. I came over here to Cinemassacre headquarters.
Oh, I know you have much more than that too at home.
Yeah, I do. But I came over here to Cinemassacre headquarters. And just brought some films and some cartoons, mostly cartoons, for James to watch.
All right, so mostly what I collected on 16 millimeters horror films so far.
Here we got Donald Duck Trick or Treat. It's a Halloween cartoon, and then we have Donald's Happy Birthday.
This is a trailer to Night of the Living Dead, and this one comes in the tin, which is cool.
Yeah, the tins. Yeah, the tins look good. And this one is even nicely labeled, and it's got silver writing on there.
Oh, I like it
wow!
That, yeah.
Doesn't that just look special?
Right here, I have Abbott and Costello Meet the Mummy and Abbott and Costello Meet Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or Jekyll and Hyde. You know that in the original movie they said Jekyll, so I think the real way to say it is Jekyll, but everybody says Jekyll, so I just say Jekyll. But anyway, these are not feature-length films. These are actually digest films. And this is a feature. Well, actually, this is half of a feature. This is an original print of... Well, this is the Phantom Creeps, actually. This is a film serial. And this is actually the second reel. Right here is the first reel. So basically, between both of these, this is the whole movie. It's a lot bigger than a DVD, isn't it? This is the same movie. This is the Phantom Creeps. It's actually 12 episodes, and all 12 episodes have been combined into one feature.
And here we have Woody Woodpecker's Smoked Hams. This is the cartoon James and I are going to watch.
I have something which is on 3 reels. This is actually Nosferatu, which is a silent film. And this is on 8 millimeter.
Beep Beep. I think that's the second Roadrunner.
This is an original print of Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman. Yeah, really cool. And see, I don't have tape on this one. Oh, no, I do have tape, but it's just getting old.
If you don't have tape on these films, too, which is another weird thing.
Oh, that is always a pain in the ass.
Yeah, like, it can just come, like, unraveled. Like, if I left that there, it just come unraveled and, you know, all crappy. So you gotta, another thing that you gotta do is you gotta tape all these friggin' things, too.
And you got the perfect tape right
there.
there.
Want to see?
It's, like, nice
Look at
and
this.
thin.
This is the perfect film tape.
Yeah, let's take a look at that. See how thin that tape is?
It's specially made tape just for this.
It has a little bit of that vinegar smell. When film gets old, it starts to smell like vinegar. I don't know why that is.
One thing I will say about these is that I've been going through and trying to collect every single Roadrunner cartoon because Roadrunner is one of my favorite animations ever. Right now, I think I have 17, and then I can start working on Bugs Bunny. What's up, Doc? Here we have a Bugs Bunny. This is one of my few Bugs Bunny cartoons. I think I only have a couple. I also have Alibaba Bunny. This is Water Every Hair.
Now, a lot of the films I have are actually ones that I shot myself when I was in college. This right here is actually, it came from the toilet. So this is one of the movies I actually shot and spliced on film. So there are splices on here. All the editing was done that way. It was all done the old-fashioned way, just splicing it all together, which is really a pain in the ass. This right here is actually, this is a trailer to Rocky, but, well, for one thing, I can tell right now that it doesn't have any leader. So it pretty much starts right, you know what, I can see Rocky right there. Now this one is on a core though. This is not on a regular spool, which is a pain in the ass when you get this. So what we're going to have to do, we're going to have to take all this film off.
Because this, look at this. This just like falls off. See how this just like falls off? You just don't want that. Spool. And turn this. See how I gotta hold it with my fingers?
You got it off there.
I just got the Rocky trailer off of that damn core. And now, look at this. This is the actual film, and see the problem is if I stick this on the reel here, it's just gonna go right to the film, so that's not good. You need a little time for it to run. So what we're gonna have is, this is called leader, and we're gonna put this on the front so that this plays first before we get to the film. So here we have a guillotine splicer. You know, like when they used to cut people's heads off in medieval times. Well, that's exactly what this shit is.
Yeah, why do they call it that?
Well, they call it that because that's exactly what it's like. You bring it down, it's like, and it cuts somebody's heads off, you know? Cuts somebody's head off.
That's some Cinemassacre right there.
This is some Cinemassacre. And cut that. You put your film here so that it lines up with the middle. And then you put your leader here. And this is equipped with some special tape. Now we pull the tape out, and we put it across the leader and the film. Boom, and then you cut. That's cutting the tape on either side, and there you go. It's together. Put the leader onto the take-up reel.
Now, you see all the green leader that went through here. Had this not been leader, then basically the film would just be all the way through here, and then that's why you need to have leader on front of something, or else you're going to miss the beginning of the movie.
You wouldn't see in a cartoon today anything with cigarettes or smoking.
Oh yeah, they are definitely smoking.
Yeah. And not only that, but he's forcing kids to smoke.
He is forcing his nephews to smoke.
It's not just you know, an adult smoke that happens to be smoking. He's shoving cigars in his little, you know, nephews' mouths and making them smoke and making them sick. That's something that you wouldn't see on like Dora the Explorer today, you know.
No, I like how you can tell what is a cell and what's the background. Like,
yeah.
Whenever you see like a part that's shaded different or something, you know that's gonna move. Well, how many cells from this do you think exist today? Like,
Probably not a lot, because I know what they did back in the 40s and 50s when they made these cartoons is that they took the cells, and I guess, it's during wartime and it cost a lot of money, so they would take the cells and they would wash them off, and then they would reuse the cells. So not that many exist, but I know some exist because I've seen them.
did the pillow just disappear?
Oh yeah, did you see
my
that? That's an animation mistake right there. There's a slingshot. Slingshot is also another classic cartoon prop.
And not just slingshotting anything, but slingshotting a grenade. Well, he's dead. Oh, no. He's still going.
Yeah.
Around when do you think they stopped playing these cartoons on TV? Because, you used to watch them. I used to watch them early 90s. Like, I remember they were still on, and I loved them.
They would show them on Nickelodeon, and then after that, they showed them on the original Cartoon Network. When the Cartoon Network first started, that's where they were shown. But then after a couple years, Cartoon Network started having its own shows, a lot of their own programming, and then eventually it just became all their own programming, which is what it is now. And you don't really see old cartoons on that channel anymore.
There's a channel called Boomerang. I don't know if it's still on. I don't really know anything about it or where you can get it. I don't think it's not on my, my cable package. But
I know people that do have it though.
Tit for Tat Machine. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Tit. They always say like tits and boobs and stuff. It's always in some different context. People used to get drunk in cartoons all the time.
Yeah. Stereotypical drunk. They would always hiccup, and then they'd sing "How Dry I Am."
Yeah, like in that Twilight Zone episode, Mr. Denton on Doomsday.
That's right.
Yeah, you could never get drunk in a cartoon nowadays.
No, that's another thing. Can't smoke cigars. Can't smoke at all. Can't be drinking.
There's always hatchets.
Yeah. He was just about to cut a baby in half with a hatchet. That's awesome.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah.
That was abrupt.
Yeah, the whole ending is chopped off there. You don't get to see the final gag.
I like how when he slammed the door, the letter actually made...
The letter would have been crumbled up,
This whole Daffy cartoon here is like a horror movie almost, because he's trying to get away from this guy the whole time, and everywhere he goes,
that guy's like a slasher villain almost.
He is, yeah. The safe. Oh, here we go.
Daffy isn't totally innocent though.
So every time he tries to get away from somebody, even in hell, he can't get away.
Yeah. Dracula.
He calls him Dracula. Well, this is where he goes to hell, right?
Yeah.
So he goes to hell, but still doesn't get away from him.
Yeah. Well, the Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle video that we did, this is pretty much... There's other cartoons that where characters end up in hell. I think Showbiz Bugs is one. But this is the main one, I think, that people remember, where a character ends up in hell at the end of a cartoon.
And gets trapped with the thing that they're trying to... The person that they're trying to get away from.
Exactly. This is pretty much what was trying to be satirized in the Crazy Castle episode.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And, people thought that the nerd actually died, because...
Who did?
Well, I saw comments, like, on the internet after that Crazy Castle video came out that said, like, oh, is the nerd dead? But as you can see, like, in the next Daffy Duck cartoon, like, Daffy is not... It doesn't start with Daffy in hell, and then, how does he get back from hell to Earth again? Like,
there's never continuity in the cartoons.
Well, it's just a joke, He ends up in hell because, Yeah. And that's...
how about the other nerd videos? Like, how about, like, the Die Hard video? Like, I get all blown up and stuff. There's never, like...
Yeah, it's not like...
The next video never continues off of the last
it's
one.
not like in the next video you're in the middle of, like, a hospital with third-degree burns, and you have to, like... get better first. You got to get well again before you can do your next game review.
I mean, cartoon characters always get blown up, and then there's no regard to that. There's no continuity with anything. I always thought of the nerd videos like cartoons in a way because
Well, they're sort of as long as a cartoon.
their early ones were always like 7 or 8 minutes, and that was usually the length of a Warner Brothers cartoon, like 8 minutes, right?
Yeah, 7, 8
Yeah.
minutes, something like that. Yeah.
And to tell you the truth, I thought of like 10 different ways that the nerd could have got out of hell, and different ways I could have explained it.
Uh-huh.
But if I would have explained it, then it would have been like, that's what it is.
Right.
And if I don't, then you just use your imagination, and it could be all kinds of things. And I think that's a lot more interesting.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. Now look at this.
Oh my God.
Porky Pig just pissed his pants. That's a pretty adult joke there to have in a cartoon, but you got to remember that these cartoons weren't really made for kids. I think the people who are making these cartoons are the ones, they were making these cartoons for themselves.
And they were all adults, so.
And they were all adults. And these cartoons played in theaters before real live action, movies. Humphrey Bogart, movies back then, and adults were going to see those and probably laughing at these cartoons. So really, these are very much for adults.
Like I used to, you and I grew up watching these in the 80s.
Yeah.
And I never really even second thought it. I always figured that they were just playing on TV, but then you think back and it's like, really, these were all theatrical.
Yeah. Well, a lot of these gags sometimes pander towards theaters. This cartoon doesn't really have the gag I'm thinking of right now, but sometimes like a character will like stand up in the front and it'll be like a silhouette of a man and it'll be like sit down or whatever. Or, is there a doctor in the house?
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so that'll tell you, it was done in theaters. This is the first Roadrunner cartoon.
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious.
You know what I love best about the Roadrunner cartoons and the Pink Panther cartoons is that there's very little dialogue in them.
These Roadrunner cartoons are so popular and so universal because you can be from America or you can be from China and you can watch this and you can understand it.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of dialogue, that comes up on the screen where it'll say coyote or whatever, but a little bit of text. But overall,
and obviously the sound is a big thing too. Like there's a lot going on in the sound effects, but it's without any verbal language in it. I always hated the Roadrunner. I want the coyote to kill him.
Well, yeah. Everybody always says that. It's like with Sylvester and Tweety. Everybody wants Sylvester to catch fucking Tweety. Yeah.
Because it's so creative, the different ways he fucks up. I like it when there's a chain reaction of some kind, when he goes into the air and he comes back down on the ground and there's lots of stuff going on and he gets sandwiched between different rocks and there's like slingshots and stuff explodes.
I always thought this was so unfair. This is a classic Warner Brothers gag.
I hate this one, yeah.
That's so unfair.
Yeah, it really is.
And then the Roadrunner comes back. The coyote is a really good painter to be able to do that perspective. He's got some artistic talent. I think he should go into the arts as opposed to trying to catch the Roadrunner.
It's never just something that like makes him go fast. It's like a refrigerator strapped to his back that makes ice, but he's also on skis, so he can slide down the ice that's being made by this refrigerator that's on his back.
Yeah.
It's just so creative, all these different
methods in which, he's going to catch the Roadrunner. And look at the editing, like right here. That's so clever to just do that. Every second they're cutting between different here you got an above angle, and now you've got a bird's eye, and they're just two little dots, and now you got a below angle, and then you get this expression going. And I mean, it's just look at this. It's a friggin' masterpiece. Boobs in the woods.
Boobs in the woods. I saw this cartoon in the 80s sometime, so sometime 20 years ago, and I still think it's just as funny as I did when I was a kid. Like, I saw that come on and I was like, what? Like, boobs in the woods?
Well, I think that the boobs in the woods. Look how goofy Daffy is right here.
Like, a boob is somebody who's goofy.
Right.
or
He's
something.
he's a boob. When you say boob, obviously you're thinking of like a tit. See? That just pissed him off.
Well,
you don't want
to.
You don't want to piss off Woody Woodpecker.
Well, why is he wearing a hat when he's wearing a hard hat trying to get a haircut?
Well, Woody Woodpecker was supposed to take the hat off and then cut his hair, but Woody Woodpecker's an asshole, so he didn't take the hat off. And then that guy called him a dope, and that pissed Woody off. So now Woody's gonna give him the works.
Yeah, and then there's that cartoon where Woody Woodpecker actually pulls a gun to his head and says he's gonna blow his brains out, and then he shoots.
No friends, no money. Ah, what's the use? If I had a gun, I'd shoot myself.
A lot of these old cartoons, they would have guns, shotguns, knives, and see, Woody's got a knife right there. He's got a knife right up to that guy's face. Look at this.
Oh my god, this is really scary.
Yeah, see, I'm scared of Woody Woodpecker right there. See, look, he's coming after him with a knife.
Wow.
He's coming out of the drawers. They're knocking all the bottles over. They're fucking right in the fucking dick. He just shoved that knife. Look at the editing here. This is like rapid fire editing.
This whole montage going on. He's getting the works all right. I mean, these really are the best cartoons, I think. And I'd say, like, we're like a couple of old farts sitting around, like, talking about, you know, the cartoons of our day. But then again, this is before our time, too.
Yeah.
Like, these cartoons are from, like, the 30s and 40s,
Yeah.
you know. So...
I mean, our grandparents, you know, were, like, watching this stuff.
Yeah. So there's really no reason why we should have seen this in the first place, because it would show before a movie in the theaters, and then after that movie was done playing, they wouldn't show the cartoon anymore. It would go into a vault or who knows. Mm-hmm. But then they started putting them on television in the 80s, I guess, or whenever they first started doing it, I don't know. But then we grew up
and they got
it.
popular all over again. A whole nother generation got to see them in the 80s, mm-hmm. and that'll tell you how timeless that these cartoons are.
Yeah.
Because they were made in the 40s or in 1930s, and you would think that by the time the 80s came along, that all the jokes would be outdated, and it would just not be, the humor would be outdated, and it wouldn't be funny anymore. But that's just not true at all.
They're just as funny as ever.
Every friggin' kid, they're easy to understand. The jokes aren't all like.
Yeah, of course. Sometimes, like, there's something that may be outdated.
Yeah, there's some outdated stuff, and maybe like they might mention like a celebrity that was popular in those days. But even if you don't know who the celebrity is, you can still watch it and understand what's going on.
Yeah. And
enjoy the cartoon, and it still holds up. It held up, in the 80s, and I think it holds up now. And it's a shame that these cartoons aren't shown anymore.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays, I don't even think people watch TV as much because there's the internet. They're playing video games.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much more to do nowadays than there was back then.
That's true.
So, so basically, it feels like these cartoons are now skipping over some generations now. I mean, yes, they are on DVD. They are available now, but nobody's gonna like.
If you don't
the people who are buying them are people like us who.
Yeah. If you don't see them, if a kid isn't seeing it on TV, they're not gonna know about it, and they're not gonna want to have their parents buy it for them on DVD because they don't know what the hell it is.
So why aren't these being shown on TV? Is it because they're violent or they're kind of sketchy? Like they don't know if some of the things aren't politically correct, or
I think it's because, well, geez, they want to put on new. I guess they want to put on new cartoons and new programming, and they want to, new animators want to come along and make cartoons, which is what what they do. Like that's what Cartoon Network is now, and all these other channels. And I guess maybe there's more money to be made by making a new cartoon. You can employ people by making new cartoons, and you can put out more toys and products, and by making new cartoons and show instead of just rehashing the same old cartoons over and over again.